what's up, Candid Cinema? It's your girl, CC, and let's get candid about the movies this year. Yeah, so we're a little late because we were sick, and then we had to go to Florida for a convention, and then we had a convention literally right after we were selling stuff and such, so we weren't able to get you right in the middle of the year, which is typically July, but we're only a couple of days off of July. So let's talk about all of the movies that we've seen this year, and we're gonna vote on which one was the best and which one was the worst. So the movies that we saw in 2025, 4 of them were from 2024, and that was Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Homestead, The Fire Inside, and The Wild Robot, but we watched them for the first time in 2025. Let's talk about the ones that we watched in February, I suppose. There was Brave the Dark and Love Hurts and My Dead Friend Zoe. I also watched Flight Risk in between that, but you weren't there for that. Then we watched Novocaine, Black Bag, Rule Breakers, The Penguin Lessons, A Working Man. Some would say Princess Mononoke, but I think I was the only one lucid enough to remember any of that. And then a Minecraft movie, The Amateur, King of Kings, The Legend of Ochi, The Accountant 2, Shadow Force, Mission Impossible 8, How to Train Your Dragon, F1, K-Pop Demon Hunters, Back in Action, Superman, and Fantastic Four First Steps. I also saw Mickey 17, Lilo and Stitch, The Phoenician Scheme, Elio, and Jurassic World Rebirth, but you also weren't there for those.
No, I wasn't.
All right, so if you want to look at this list...
I'm going to have to because that's way too many movies.
Yeah, I know. We did see a lot of movies so far, and it's only half of the year. So I'm just gonna go through the ones that I actually thought were good. I thought Brave the Dark was good.
Yes.
My Dead Friend Zoe was really good.
It was a good movie, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not. It's not a feel-good movie
no.
necessarily.
That one was a lot of feelings.
Yeah.
Black Bag was good.
It was decent.
Yeah. Rule Breakers was good.
What was Rule Breakers?
The Afghan women in STEM.
Oh, yeah. I did like that.
The Penguin Lessons was really good.
Yeah, that was good.
I enjoyed that. A Working Man was all right.
It was all right.
A Minecraft movie was good.
Yeah, I'd give it maybe a little better than all right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not much.
The Amateur was good. That one was good. What do you mean?
It's a little less than good. Better than all right. Because I'm comparing it to the first Accountant, and the first Accountant blew it away. It wasn't nearly as good. I didn't think.
The Amateur?
Oh, this is the Amateur. I thought you said Accountant.
No, I said the Amateur. I said the Amateur.
Oh, well, the Amateur was good. Yeah,
yeah,
right.
We're not even there yet. King of Kings was... It was an all right kids movie, but I think some of the doctrine was not correct.
Yeah, King of Kings was decent.
The Accountant 2 was all right. It was all right.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible 8 I really did like. That's what pigeonholed me into watching the original ones.
Of course, we only got
we only watched the first and second so far.
The first one was good, and then, man, the second one really hit the beach hard.
Yeah, and I'm still excited to watch the other one. How to Train Your Dragon was phenomenal.
It was great. Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
F1 was also phenomenal.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
And I liked K-Pop Demon Hunters. Wasn't bad. I enjoyed that one a lot. I especially enjoyed the music for sure.
I was entertained.
Mm-hmm. Back in Action, I did actually really like that one.
It was okay.
And Fantastic Four, The First Steps was good too. I liked that one.
Yes, I did like that. What about Superman? We're not doing the ones we didn't like.
Also, I did enjoy watching Ghost again, but again, that was not a 2025 movie.
What was that, a 1984 movie?
I don't know. All I know is Patrick Swayze was in it, and there's no way he can be in a movie now unless they do some AI shenanigans that isn't good. And then the bad movies of this year, I would say, was Love Hurts for sure.
Yeah, that was just like no story.
I wouldn't say Novocaine was bad, but I also wouldn't say it was good. I mean, it just kind of fell off at the end. The grotesqueness of it kind of hurt it for me, and then the fact that it got so unbelievable at the end was just insane.
I didn't like Novocaine because it just seemed silly to me. It was silly, yeah.
I don't know if I talked about The Working Man and the good movies. I also wouldn't say it was a bad movie. It wasn't a great movie. It was entertaining, I think, and there was also some unbelievability in it, but I mean,
it was mildly entertaining to me, but very cheesy.
Yeah. But sometimes it's fun to have a cheesy movie
I don't know.
that's fun.
The acting was somewhat weak, though.
I can agree with that, but I liked that it was strictly what it was, and it wasn't trying to push anything.
It was what it was. I mean, you knew what you were getting into going into it.
It was a lesser version of Taken for sure, but that's all it was. It wasn't trying to push anything, and I enjoyed that. There's a lot of movies today that just want to try to push something, and then it weakens everything because of it.
Yes, it makes for a poor story.
The Legend of Ochi was just not okay. That was
The Legend of Ochi. The legend is that how did it ever become a movie?
Yeah, I don't know why that got greenlit.
That was just awful. That was just like.
Then Shadow Force was really bad. I wouldn't say it was not. I mean, this was a movie that was what it was, but it didn't do what it was good. At least a working man did what it was decently and slightly good enough that it was like, this is entertaining and nice, even though it's cheesy. This one was just straight up just like cheesy. It was with Kerry Washington.
I don't know who she is.
The black woman with the nice hair.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree with your assessment. It was what it was, and it didn't do it well.
And then Superman. You know my thoughts on that. It was a fine movie in terms of cinematography and acting, casting, but the story itself was just not great for Superman because he just wasn't super.
Yeah, Lex Luthor he let me down. I mean, it was a very weak performance for such a person. Everything was serious except for him. He just didn't fit for me. He wasn't the right choice for Lex Luthor. For me, that's an opinion. His genius, the genius of Lex Luthor, didn't really shine out. More the spoiled little brat came out, and someone who wasn't disciplined when he was a child or something. He had a temper tantrum at the end, and it was just stupid.
He did have a temper tantrum. That was strange.
His whole character, that whole character was
you
to
want
me was
him more
stupid.
Mature. Yeah. Anyway, if you have a specific movie that you thought was the best of this year, if I was to choose a couple, I'd say My Dead Friend Zoe was in the running, Mission Impossible 8, How to Train Your Dragon, F1, Fantastic Four First Steps, and also K-pop Demon Hunters for this year, if I was to give my group for the running. And I'm not adding the ones that I did not watch with my father.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of those choices, really. I would not now. Am I a K-pop fan?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of folks were before they watched this movie.
I mean, was I entertained by the movie? Yes. Did I think there was any thin spots in the movie? No. So I think for what it was done well.
And let's make this perfectly clear. I don't know if the demographic for K-pop Demon Hunters was
includes 57-year-olds.
Right. Exactly. So you know what? For them to hit like most age groups like that and actually have it be like a really good movie in that regard is, they're doing pretty well. They did pretty well with that. Out of those movies, if I was to choose the best movie out of all of those movies, I think I'm gonna have to put How to Train Your Dragon to the side because it is an adaptation. Even though they did phenomenally with adapting the source material into live action, it is an adaptation. I've seen the movie before. I've witnessed the story before, and there were a couple of parts in this adaptation that just did not stay true to itself. I also think I'm going to put Mission Impossible 8 to the side. I liked Mission Impossible 1 better.
Well, let me say something about Mission Impossible 8.
Sure.
In Mission Impossible, the first movie, now that I've seen it again recently, I didn't think there was as many thin spots in the acting.
In the first movie?
In the first one, yeah. I thought there were a few thin spots in 8. But,
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, there were a couple of actors that I was just like, you didn't really do your job. I'm going to put Fantastic Four First Steps aside now. Even though it was a very good superhero movie, I still enjoyed the first Fantastic Four better, and I've seen better superhero movies. A lot more superhero movies have more superhero action in it.
Yeah, I think for me, the movie was great. I really enjoyed the movie. I liked the retro feel to it.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And I also liked the fact that it had a society that was mixed in its culture. Mm-hmm. The thing that lost it for me, though, was at the end, Mr. Fantastic, the Torch, and the Thing were were somewhat sidekicks.
They were useful in different parts of the movie. Reed had his plan for the teleportation. The Human Torch figured out the language, and Invisible Woman did do the fight at the end. But if I was to say who did the most heavy lifting throughout the movie, it was the Invisible Woman. And who did the least? The Thing.
If you think about it, what the Torch did, someone who's really good with language could do, right? Then what the Mr. Fantastic did, well, there's a genius. A genius could do that.
You had to be Mr. Fantastic to do that, but not Mr. Fantastic, the superhero, to do that.
Most of his stretching ability was emphasized in the convenience of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't want to get up and walk across the room and grab something.
It's kind of funny because the first Fantastic Four movie, people were pretty cool with the details of like them using their powers in just daily life things. Like, for example, Johnny using his heat to make Jiffy Pop. You saw the popcorn rise and then he was able to eat the popcorn. That was a really cool detail that they had to show your superpowers in daily life because not a lot of superhero movies do that. But this one just seemed to basically have their superpowers in only the daily life. Not a lot of it was used in any sort of battle except for the Invisible Woman.
Except for the Invisible Woman.
It was a really good movie. I think it was probably the best superhero movie of this year, of the ones that I saw.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But it is not my favorite movie of the year. So I guess it's between F1 for me and My Dead Friend Zoe, which is kind of funny considering they're both dramas. And I think I'll probably have to go with F1 just because of the PG-13 rating. I think it was nice to not have to deal with so many swears and other things like that. So F1 beats out by hair for me. Oh, wait, I didn't talk about K-pop Demon Hunters. K-pop Demon Hunters are my second favorite.
I'm not really disagreeing much with your assessment of it. The problem I have with F1 was the ending.
Yeah.
I wasn't really fond of the ending.
I think if you just cut it off right when he was leaving to go back home in that car and he didn't go to like where he was going to the next races, it could have been a little bit more ambiguous on what he did next, and I think that would have been the perfect ending.
Then the My Dead Friend Zoe, there was a lot of swearing in there that I remember. It didn't have any thin spots.
No.
It had some rough spots with the woman's father.
Yep.
I mean, there was some challenges to the movie. Yep. It was, I don't want to say it was realistic because that makes it sound like I am somewhat of an expert in that kind of difficulty in human life, which I'm not. It was tough though. And the acting was strong all the way through it, from what I remember, and it was tragic. It was a tragedy. I mean, there's not a whole lot. There was a tragedy and a victory at the end. It's hard to walk away from a movie like that saying, "Man, I'd watch that again," which I'm not going to. I mean, it was tough.
That
it was an emotional
extremely
ride.
heavy content.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're going into it, that is the only movie that I can think of right now, currently, that I would be like, trigger warning. Like, be careful going to this movie. There are a lot of triggers in this, because I don't want to, like, throw out trigger warnings and crap lightly because it's just so overused today. But that one is that one does warrant a trigger warning.
But for me to compare F1 to that movie, My Dead Friend Zoe, is they're not comparable. I would put both of them as number one in their genres. Because I would certainly recommend to people to watch My Dead Friend Zoe because it has some things that are brought out in it that I think are important to be aware of. And it's certainly what happened with her certainly wasn't what I expected. So I think F1 and Fantastic Four and Mission Impossible probably. Oh, and How to Train Your Dragon. Shoot, I'd probably put that at the top. To be honest with you.
That was his actually first time watching. So for me saying it wasn't my first time seeing that story, it was his first time seeing the story, which then prompted him to watch the original one.
So I'm thinking I'd put that one at the top. F1 would be underneath it. Mission Impossible probably underneath that. Fantastic Four underneath that. But those are very tight. They're not really. If I had to put them in an order, that's how I would put it.
This year wasn't devoid of really good movies, although it seems like they were outclassed by the bad ones.
But My Dead Friend Zoe would be number one as well in the genre.
No, I feel I agree, yeah. No, My Dead Friend Zoe was strong all the way around. It was hard watching that movie. It was a really good movie, but it was difficult to watch it because there were just so many emotions that were hit like all the time.
But we didn't mention Penguin Lessons, and I really did like that movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot. The Penguin Lessons was really good. It was really cute story. The ending was really sad, but it was a true story, and it was based off a true story, and the penguin did die in real life, like, at that time. It was just sad. But I did enjoy it a lot.
And so I would throw that in the genre of My Dead Friend Zoe, and I'd be hard-pressed to say which one was number one on that, because I would watch Penguin Lessons again.
Yeah, it wasn't as heavy. It wasn't as heavy as My Dead Friend Zoe.
It did have light moments where My Dead Friend Zoe didn't have too many of those.
I mean, I would still say that My Dead Friend Zoe was better. I just think the story was stronger. It was strong all the way through, and it was a good story. But the Penguin Lessons had a couple of times where I was just like, all right.
And Rule Breakers.
Yeah, Rule Breakers wasn't bad. I don't know if I'd put it in my top.
Yeah, okay.
Now for the bad ones, if I was to put the really bad ones,
there's a lot of bad ones.
if I was to put but my top bad ones, I would say Love Hurts is in that.
Yes.
The Legend of Ochi is in that.
Oh yes.
Shadow Force is in that.
Yes.
Yep, I think those are the three of my three top worst movies of this year were those. And if I was to choose which one out of those, I'd probably say The Legend of Ochi.
Yeah, that's the one I'm going with.
Like,
even though Love Hurts was just a dumpster fire as far as I'm concerned, and it had way too much swearing in it. It had so much more promise.
The trailer was the best part of the movie.
Yeah, that's the sad part. It's not the first movie in which I was like, oh my gosh, I
like the
trailer
better. The trailer was the entire movie.
But The Legend of Ochi, it was not only was it a dumpster fire, it was a confusing dumpster fire.
And you didn't understand it whatsoever. None of it was understandable. And they wanted you to think it was so profound and so, like, magical and mystical. Like, I feel like they were trying to be like the bridge to Terabithia or something in that genre, but it fell so incredibly flat. It was just awful.
It was awful.
Like, you want to watch a coming-of-age story? Watch literally anything else. Watch The Bridge to Terabithia. Now, that was a very good movie, but that was a movie that I struggled to watch again because it was so daggum sad.
Yeah,
it was a heavy one.
It was tearjerker.
Oh, my gosh. If I was to add the movies that I saw without you, I think, honestly, I would say Lilo and Stitch was the worst movie of this year. Only because
Can't believe it.
Yeah, Lilo and Stitch was the worst movie of this year because it
Legend
killed.
of Ochi? Come on, Legend of Ochi.
Yeah, but that was an original concept. This one killed its source material, but it doesn't beat out The Legend of Ochi phenomenally. They're like a hair, but since Legend of Ochi was original, the fact that it massacred the source material so incredibly badly was just killed it. It was awful.
I remember some of the things you were telling me, and now I'm starting to agree with you, some of the horribleness of it.
And I had him watch the original one. We weren't going to go and see the Lilo and Stitch live action. We weren't going to do that. But I had him watch the original one. He loved it. It was a great movie. And I fear that if you watched the live action one, you'd be so angry. Because I was angry. That is a movie you walk out being angry. I would have walked out of that movie if I didn't have a job.
We didn't mention The Amateur either. Where would you have put that? Somewhere in the middle?
The Amateur was good. It just wasn't my top favorites of this year.
Yeah.
I also watched Elio with my mother, and that one was in my top worst movies of the year, but it was better than Love Hurts, The Legend of Ochi, and Lilo and Stitch, worse than Shadow Force. But yeah, so that's the culmination of 6 months out of the year 2025. How crazy is it that we're already 6 months through? It feels like I just started this YouTube channel yesterday. Yeah, because like my first ever one was Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and we watched that either on my birthday or the day after it. And then I gave you guys my the first ever review for this channel. So if you want to go see that, you should totally go see that. I'll put it up in a card here or something. And then, however many movies later, we're in August. How crazy is it that we're in August?
It's crazy. It is crazy.
We're going to be watching some movies this week, like Sketch. And then I'll probably watch Freakier Friday because
really
I have to for the channel. It's probably going to be a pretty popular one, and we'll see how this sequel holds up. It's probably not going to be good, but we'll see. But I also watched Bad Guys 2 as well. We'll see how that sequel is. It was only a 2-year difference, so we'll see. But DreamWorks has been good to me. There were some bad ones, but DreamWorks has been good to me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this 5th episode of the Candid Cinema podcast, and why don't you comment down below what you think the best movie of this year is and what you think the worst movie of this year is, and whether or not you agree with our takes. We had a great time watching all of these movies. Well, we had a good time watching the good movies movies of this year, and like just a nice time watching all the other ones just so that we could talk to you guys about it. And loved our Studio Ghibli stint. Oh my gosh, we didn't even talk about like the fact that we watched like 12 of those during the course of this year as well, but we also couldn't talk about it during the 2025 because none of them were made in this year. Anyway, thank you all for watching this Candid Cinema podcast, and just remember, right here at Candid Cinema, it's okay to talk, it's okay to text, and I will see you later. Bye!